Hello YouTubers, a few days ago I started a new YouTube series called
The Atheist Epic Fail.
And for this video we are going to expose the atheist known as ZOMGitsCriss. You know, the blonde girl, give me money because I am poor, like that. Yes, I am talking about her. The ex-atheist girl, the ex-evolutionist girl, the ex-humanist girl. Now this girl, she has always stated that she is a humanist, she is an evolutionist, and she is an atheist. Today we're going to see how she is going to destroy all these ideas. I'm talking about her last video. Are we something? Are we being atheist or something like that? When I started reading about the conspiracy theory, I was quite skeptic about it.
Countries are a thing of the past. Every form of independence is under attack, with the family and even the individual itself nearing extinction. Close to 80% of the Earth's population has been eliminated. Erected by a secretive group, the Georgia Guidestones are a testament to the elite's plan for a world religion, global laws, with a global court and army to enforce it. And set in stone, it is written that the population never rise above 500 million.
I suppose that the idea that someone could look at humanity as some kind of disease, some kind of cancer, some kind of fungus was for me impossible to accept.
The idea that carbon is a pollutant is essentially a way of saying that humanity is a disease or a cancer that ought to be wiped out. Genocide.
So I was a little surprised when I saw the so-called humanist Cristina telling her 40,000 subscribers that humanity is, in fact, a disease.
Hey there, I assume most of you know what a doubling time refers to, but just in case some of you may not know, a doubling time is the period of time required for something to double in size. And this can be applied to population growth. To give an example, let's say that you have a beautiful flower garden.
If you do not realize it yet, by flower garden, she is actually saying planet Earth.
That suddenly becomes affected by a new type of fungus.
And by fungus, she is actually referring to Homo sapiens, to humanity, to mankind.
That suddenly becomes affected by a new type of fungus. The doubling time for the said fungus is 24 hours. So with every day the fungus population would double in size, thus killing rapidly your flowers. And let's say that considering the size of your garden, it will take 30 days for the fungus to completely destroy it.
What she is trying to say is that we are killing the planet. We, mankind, humanity, we are the disease.
Your ability to save your garden depends heavily on how fast you notice the problem. If you realize you have a problem when your garden is little over 6% affected by the fungus, you will only have 4 days left to solve it. If, however, you notice the problem 1 day later, the fungus population would have doubled in size, affecting about 12.5% of your garden, and leaving you with only 3 days left to deal with it. The next day, your garden will be 25% destroyed, and you will only have 2 days to find a solution. And if you only get to see the problem 1 day after that, your garden will be 50% affected by the fungus, and that would be your final day when you could do something about it. Because the next day the fungus population will double in size again, and your entire garden will be lost.
Now, let's don't forget that the word used here, it's fungus. This is very important, this is crucial. So let's all try something different. Let's imagine that we have a garden, a beautiful garden, with many flowers, and we really love that garden and the flowers in it. And one day, some blonde atheist chick on YouTube is going to show us that something is killing our favorite garden. Now, what do you think we're going to do? I mean, what do you think we should do in this case? I mean, we're going to love the fungus or are we going to kill the fungus?
It took 26 days for the fungus to affect about 6% of your flower garden, and from that on, only 4 days to destroy it 100%. You may have noticed the problem during the 26 days and thought, it's not that bad, I'll deal with it later. Or maybe you were distracted and didn't even realize there is a problem during those 26 days. But from that on, you have only 4 days left to find a solution.
Now let's see what an expert is telling us about the fungus flowers problem.
What to do if the infection is isolated in the pseudobulb or leaf? Remove it. Spray or drench with an appropriate fungicide available in your state at label strength and recommended frequency. A change in cultural practices coupled with removal of infected tissue is the best solution. Watch the plant until you are sure the infection has stopped progressing.
In 1950, the Earth population was at about 2.5 billion people. It only required less than 40 years to its doubling time, reaching over 5 billion by 1990. Again, the world population doubled in less than 40 years. That's less than the average life of a human. And now we are pushing 7 billion people, in a world with a changing climate and limited resources, some of which are at the base of our modern civilization.
Now you are probably going to doubt that there are people who will actually think like Cristina.
In the event that I am reincarnated, I would like to return as a deadly virus in order to contribute something to solve overpopulation. Prince Philip, reported by Deutsche Presseagentur DPA, August 1988.
Most of the energy resources we have grown to depend on are not renewable. They cannot be produced, regenerated or regrown.
And I actually think the world will be much better when there's only 10 or 20% of us left. Dr. Eric Pianka.
Prominent University of Texas biologist Dr. Eric Pianka, while receiving an award from the Texas Academy of Science, said that the worldwide AIDS pandemic was, quote, no good, it's too slow, and went on to laud the virtues of Ebola because it would kill 90% of the world population quickly. When his statements erupted into a national controversy, his graduate students defended him, stating that Pianka was too conservative and that all humans should be killed.
When they're gone, and that's it. And that includes oil, coal, natural gas, and nuclear power.
What?
And nuclear power.
Nuclear power. Wow. Why don't you just did some research before you put this video on YouTube?
Many people are oblivious to how important oil is in our day-to-day life. Almost everything you use and take for granted. Your TV, your computer, your furniture, your clothing.
In the push to reduce global warming, children, according to some, are the new culprits. A think tank in the UK says too many kids are what's making the planet worse, saying large families, anything over 2 children really, should be frowned upon as an environmental no-no, akin to not reusing your plastic bags, driving one of those big gas-guzzling cars, taking long trips overseas. The UK, in fact, has negative growth. I think Canada does too. That still, families in our rich countries shouldn't have more than 2 kids.
Another thing that is glorified to an insane extent is having children. And yes, religion is a strong component in that. Because most religions, if not all, proclaim it is your God-given right to have children.
Are you joking, right? I thought Christianity glorifies chastity, and many other religions too.
But not only that, it's almost your duty to be fruitful and multiply.
In the draft copy of the United Nations Global Biodiversity Assessment, it states very clearly that we must reduce the human population from its current level of about 6 billion people down to about 1 billion people.
So, the so-called humanist ZOMGitsCriss thinks that humanity is a disease and we should be exterminated, just like the fungus from a beautiful garden. Now, the most interesting is how ZOMGitsCriss is destroying evolutionism.
But personally, I see just no value in my children having my genes, being my own flesh and blood. It is just a cultural construct. It means absolutely nothing to me.
So, dear evolutionist, this is what the girl has to say about your theory.
No value in my children having my genes, being my own flesh and blood. It is just a cultural construct. It means absolutely nothing to me.
So, according to her, evolution is not even a theory, it's a...
It is just a cultural construct. It means absolutely nothing to me.
So we have only two options here. One, Cristina recognized that she is retarded, or two, she just recognized that she does not believe in evolutionism. But the biggest epic fail of Cristina is this video itself. How come? Let's all remember that atheist people believe that life has no subjective purpose and no meaning. So why bother? Why losing all this time with this video? Let's all remember that according to science, the universe itself is dying. I mean, it's getting colder and colder while the entropy is increasing. So the population growth is the last thing that should bother Cristina. Also, if you do not want to have any children, you do not have any right to have any claim on the future.
To have their fetuses in their faces, while some doctors explain to them that this is their little hands and this is their little beating heart, to make them feel guilty, to shame them.